Hey guys, welcome back to Blue Dog Ventures. Today is hatch day and we rocking and rolling. They filling up the incubator fast with baby quail chicks. I don't know if you guys can see them. I got a lot of footage on hatching. I was out here before daylight this morning, so I could be sure and capture that for you guys. That'll be included in this video. They are still hatching. Today is actually day 18. They started rocking and rolling yesterday and had 2 or 3, I think there was 3 when I came out here this morning. Like I said, it was before daylight, had already hatched. And today is day 18 and they're continuing to hatch. We've got a lot in here that's already zipping around the egg. But I wanted to go ahead and film this video. We've got a birthday party. I have a little nephew that's having his 3-year-old birthday party today. And so we've got to go attend that a little after lunch. So I wanted to come on out here and get this film for you guys. And I wanted to show you my setup for the baby quail, taking them straight out of the incubator. And if you guys are just joining us or just stumbled upon this video, this is actually part 3 in our Raising Quail Blue Dog Ventures series. This takes you all the way up to hatch. So if you guys missed out on part 1 and part 2, I'll leave the link to those videos in the description below for you guys to check out if you need to watch those first. These are Harris Farm Nutri-Right 360 incubators by ManaPro. These are my go-to incubators. I've been using these for years now. These come with egg turners that are chicken egg turners. So you guys can go on eBay, probably Etsy. I got mine from eBay. These people with the 3D plastic printers, they are creating and making quail egg turners that can interchange in these 360 incubators, and that's what I did. I bought me some quail egg turners, popped those out and changed them out with the chicken egg turners, and let me think. I think they will hold 64 eggs, which of course you may run across different designs, but the ones that I got held 64 quail eggs. But we removed those turners. The quail egg turners are very snug on the egg, and so if you left them in, they wouldn't be able to turn that egg when they're zipping, which could cause complications. So it's always important to remove your turners in any incubator that you're using. It doesn't matter. Always take those egg turners out if they're removable, or be sure and shut them off if they're not removable. You also want to increase your humidity. The whole run with these, I kept them between 35 and 40% humidity up until about 3 to 4 days before hatch day. I bumped that between 55 and 65, kept it right in there. We're currently sitting at 60 on both of them right now. Once they start hatching, you will see your humidity kind of spike because of the wetness inside those eggs when they hatch. But that's a good thing. You don't want to let it get through the roof, and that's where these little vents on the front come in real handy. You can open and close, and just a little bit goes a long ways in adjusting your humidity. So use those to your advantage during hatch. If your humidity gets on up there in the 90s or even the high 80s, I don't like my humidity to get that high. So I use these to my advantage, the little vents. Go ahead and open those guys up, and you will see your humidity drop. If it starts dropping too low, go ahead and close it up a little bit and just use it as an adjustment. A little bit goes a long ways. But again, I highly recommend these incubators. They are very beginner friendly. I love the fact that they have the see-through lids, so I can see what's going on. And just like the footage you guys are going to see, this is just an amazing part of Mother Nature to me, and I can sit here for hours and watch them. And being able to film that and actually see through these see-through lids, that's just a plus for me all the way around. Especially if you have young kids that can sit here and watch them. It's just a good experience. But enough about the incubators. Like I said, I have some videos out on these guys, a walkthrough on the setup, the different settings on them. I have how to clean them. I have some more hatching videos with my chickens and baby chicks you guys can check out. But these are my go-to, and you'll see them in all my hatching videos. I love them. But I will probably leave these baby chicks in these incubators until I'm satisfied that majority of them have hatched. Now, with my baby chicken chicks, I usually go ahead and pull them as they fluff. Go ahead and pull them and add them to the tote. I'm fixing to show you my setup right over here. But with these baby quail, they're a lot smaller, and the more that you can keep in a confined area, the better they're going to be able to stay warm. Like I say, and since they're so tiny, they're not really cramped in these incubators, even though these are smaller incubators. Now, baby chicks of the chickens, they're a lot bigger than these guys, and it can get cramped because this will hold 22 chicken eggs. And so if you have a full hatch, you can imagine that this thing gets pretty crowded if you got a 100% hatch rate on 22 baby chicks. So I usually pluck them out as they fluff and dry. The quail, they're not going to get too crowded in these because they're so tiny. And like I say, you want to kind of wait and so that you can move them, the mass of them at one time, so they can help, retain that heat and share their body heat. But let's go over here and I'll show you my first step from the incubator to what I use for a brooder. Okay, for my setup, when I go from the incubator, I move directly to, I use a plastic tote. And right now I have it lined with puppy pads. And you want to be sure to kind of fold your edges over. And if you have a seam, go ahead and tape that seam, because these little tiny quail can kind of scoot themselves up under there, and then they're not getting the heat that they need and they could die. So be sure that they can't get up under that puppy pad and separate themselves from the heat and the other quail. When they done away with the halogen old-fashioned light bulbs, I went ahead and stocked up. I got a stockpile of them because they were the old style that gave off heat. As you guys know, they've since banned those, and all the stores had to pull those from the shelves, and now we're stuck with LED lights, which do not give off heat. Yes, you can still use heat lamps, and that's what majority of the people do. However, until I run out of these guys, I like to use them versus the heat lamps simply because I feel like they're safer. Those heat lamps can get really hot. They can easily cause a fire if they were to burst or get broken. And I just like using these style light bulbs. Like I said, I know that they're not available anymore, but if you have some that you have not used up, I recommend that you save them for this scenario. But I just use the clamp lights, and like I said, the regular halogen light bulbs. And then I just use boards to hang my clamp lights from and keep those down in there. And what you're going to do is, once you put your baby quail in, you're going to watch their behavior. If they're all wadded up in a tight wad, they need more heat. If they're more spread out and really spread out, they're too hot. You just kind of want them in the middle of the road there. Just watch their behavior and you'll be able to tell if they're too hot or too cold. Just as you do with baby chicks on chickens. And you may have to raise your heat up or lower it depending on if they need more or less heat. But I like to, especially right now, because I'm trying to warm this box up, because I'm getting ready to move some of them over. And so I like to just take a towel, a lightweight towel. It's still very breathable, and it's not going to hold in all the heat, so it doesn't get too hot. And then you can even flip up a corner or two here and there to kind of keep your heat adjusted. It's not a bad idea to stick your thermometer inside your brooder box. That is my initial setup. They will probably stay here for around 2 weeks. And then I'll move them out to an outside brooder box. We'll see how that goes. I'm still a rookie at this, but that's usually how I do my baby chicks on chickens, and I'm expecting to kind of follow along the same way with the baby quail. But we'll see as we go along. On your quail waterers for babies, be sure that you go ahead and get the quail bases, the quail water bases, simply because you know how tiny these little fellas are. So you want to have a water tray that they cannot get themselves into. They can't even get their head over in there, because sometimes, especially with baby chicken chicks, they will, right after hatch, it's like a little wind-up toy. They'll exert a whole bunch of energy, and then in a split second, it's like you just killed the light switch. They just fall asleep. And they have been known to fall asleep in their water dish or their little waterer, and they will drown. So with baby chicks, I will place little marbles or little pebbles in there to kind of keep them from being able to completely submerge their head at any given time. These quail bases are really tight right here. So you can still add some pebbles. It's not going to hurt a thing. Or marbles, just for an extra precaution. But go ahead and definitely get these versus the regular chick waterers. You can pick these up at your local hardware store, Tractor Supply, Amazon, anywhere that, you know, they have poultry supplies. On your feed, you want to start with a starter, preferably a game bird starter. A lot of people like to use between 25 and 30% on their starter, and then back off, you know, as they grow and graduate up to a grower, and back off to around 18 to 20, 25%, somewhere in there. You'll hear a lot of different opinions on feeding quail. Do what works for you. Do your homework. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start them out with a starter and then just see how they do, and make my decision from there on the next percent that we drop down to. I mentioned that I use puppy pads. I used the puppy pads in the very beginning because they're so tiny and so fragile looking, and the puppy pads, I think, will be a little easier for them to get their feet up under them versus shavings. Now, I will probably, before the 2 weeks is up, move over to shavings at some point, the fine shavings. But I like to start out with the puppy pads. Yeah, they're a little more expensive. You can use paper towels if you want, cheap paper towels. I just had some of these on hand, and that's what I'm going to start out with. But there's many options on your bedding. The main thing is keeping them warm enough. You want to keep baby quail between 95 and 100 degrees. Like I said, their behavior is going to be the telltale sign. Just like with baby chicken chicks, you want to watch their behavior. They're all in a tight wad. Give them more heat by lowering those lights. Or if you have a heating plate, lower the heating plate. If they're all spread out, way spread out, and to the edge of the confinement, you know that they're too hot. Get that heat back up off of them. Raise those lights or raise the heat plate. That pretty much shows you guys my little setup and what my plan of action here is with the baby quail. But super excited that they're here. Looking forward to the whole journey with them. And you guys stay tuned. We'll continue filming through this first whole journey. We're taking you all the way from setting eggs in the incubator all the way to butcher. So be sure and stay tuned. And we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all.